Hello. Welcome to the Such Nice Work podcast. Today I'm filming in front of a live studio audience, though he's only, kind of an audience. But my hubby's over there. And so is my son, who is asleep. So hopefully he stays asleep. I'm trying to squish this in during nap time, which I'll talk about later. So, hi. If you've been here before, thanks for watching again. And if you're new, thanks for coming along for the ride. What I am wearing today. I'm wearing nothing yarny, as you can see. Lack of yarniness. But actually wasn't going to wear anything like special or handmade in any form at all. And then I was trying to look at the earrings I had out and realized I have a whole bunch of earrings that were not hanging on my earring holder in the bathroom. And I remember there was a box that was sitting on top of the piano. And I found this jewelry, which I had forgotten about and had in a box for quite a while. Here it is, so you can see it closer. But the kind of cool and special thing about these earrings and this necklace is I made these to wear to the rehearsal dinner for my wedding. They went really nicely with the dress that I have from the wedding, which hopefully someday I will fit in again. Which might be an actual possibility. I don't know. I keep thinking I might give it away, and then I haven't. So it's hanging in the closet. Maybe later this year. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing, jewelry-wise, and it'll be exciting because I have rediscovered these, and I can wear them more frequently. So moving along to my squeaky wheels, what are the things in my life that just need doing that I have not been doing? The old ones for life was to finish and send in the applications for next year's craft shows, which I did yesterday. And it was really funny. I'd been putting off doing it because they seemed like a lot of work and, I don't know, stressful or whatever. And so I just kept not doing them. And then when I sat down to do them, I was almost done. Because I'd been putting the pictures together and stuff, because you have to send in pictures for the bigger shows of like your work and your booth, and one of them wanted pictures of me making my stuff, so I had to like take some not completely posed looking pictures of me making cards and crocheting, and yeah, they were okay. And I put those together, and everything is in the mail now, so that is good, and it is done. And I really shouldn't have put it off as long as I did, because that was probably more stress than just getting it done. And my crafty goal was to get the rest of the Valentine's items that I was putting together over to Gypsy's, which is one of the places that I consign things that I make. And I did. I got that done. I took things over. I'd planned to take it over on Friday, and I didn't get things done in time and life. So I took it over on Saturday morning, and it was good because one of the owners was there, and I got to like talk to her and stuff, and I got a check, and that was exciting. So yeah, some of my stuff has actually sold, which I didn't really know. They're only open Fridays and Saturdays, and I rarely get over there on Fridays or Saturdays unless I'm dropping things off. So I did not know for sure if or what of my items had sold, and some things had. So that was good, and I left things, and they posted pictures on their Facebook page. They had a very nice little showing of my works, so that was cool. But I don't know, I'll talk about this later. I just tell you things that I finished. I forgot to take pictures of everything that I took over there, and some of it was super, super cute. So I'm sorry you don't get to see the finished objects of what you saw last week. But yeah, so I got that done, and that was good. So on a businessy note, I have been quite productive this week, so that's good. So the new squeaky wheels, things that I need to get done for this next week in my life. I really need to restock my pantry. I keep saying I need to do it, and now, though, I have the means to do it, which I will also talk about later. So yeah, I need to do that, and crafty-wise, I need to finish my husband's cousin's Afghan that I'm working on. Did you hear the Wii turn on in the other room? I heard the Wii turn on in the other room. I wonder if he's going to play Sims. My Sims CD is in there that he got me for my birthday, my hubby. But I have only vaguely played it. I always thought Sims would be really fun. And I think it might be if I didn't have children screaming in the background the night I was trying to do it. So, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so I need to finish the Afghan, which I will show you. I'm Also, it's kind of like the applications for the craft shows. I am way closer to being done with this whole thing than I realized when I put it down. I think with things that, like large projects, when you put them down and step away from them, the amount that seems like it needs to get done, like, grows and grows and grows in your mind. And if you actually went and looked at what needed to be finished, a lot of times it's hardly anything. So, yeah, I just think that you should go and dig into some of that stuff that isn't done and just finish it already and get that off your plate. Okay, so moving on to the I'm proud of yous. I got a lot done this week. Let's see, the things I finished and don't have to show you. I finished a Janet cowl, which I was making for the Red Heart Lovers group's crochet along. Yeah, funny, didn't take a picture, thus can't enter the crochet along. Don't have an image of it. But it was made out of Red Heart Super Saver and Plum Pudding, which is like purple and pink in different tones all together. It's one of their multis. It was very cute and Valentine's-y, but I mean, you could also wear it not Valentine's and not look like a walking Valentine. So that was done. And I also finished the love bug that I was making last week. He got little heart-shaped eyes on his head, and he was very, very cute. So that is done as well. And I also finished an owl ornament, which I called an Owl Will Always Love You, which I don't have, but I made that out of Super Saver and Bon Bon, which is like blues and pinks. And I also made a card case out of Frosty Green and Light Raspberry. Well, it's all out of Frosty Green, Super Saver. And then it had a heart on the front out of Light Raspberry. And had a button and a set of cards inside to match. So those all have gone off to Gypsies to be sold. And I don't have them anymore. But I do have a few things I finished that you can see. So the first thing I finished in my quest to make a dishcloth a week with the Dishcloth Along group, this is the crocheted one. Yes, my ends are not woven in. I just haven't been in the mood to weave in ends lately. I just sit down and do some. So this is called the Multicolor Dishcloth. I did make a few changes to the pattern. It is a free pattern. I forget who it is by. I should know that. Let's see. It's over here. Multicolor Dishcloth. It is a free pattern from... This is what? Patterns for Crochet. .co.uk. I can't really see that very well. But yes, I did this. Around the edge, you are supposed to, after you do this little patterny bit in the middle, you're supposed to do like slip stitches around it and then do your border into the slip stitches. But when you do that, I feel like you end up with a real, like a front side and a back side. And with a dishcloth, it's not something you use like one side up. You use the whole thing. So I don't like to have an icky looking side. So I just single crocheted around the whole thing and then put my border into the single crochets, which worked just fine. It also, I just carried floats of the red and the blue along as I went. It told you to fasten off after each stripe. And as you can see, my ends aren't woven in as it is. Can you imagine if I had ends for every one of these stripes? Not happening. So, yeah, I didn't do that. Plus, with dishcloths, I kind of like to make as few ends as possible because since these are workhorse items, I feel like the ends and even the woven in ends get so much use and wear that they're more likely to come loose. So the fewer ends possible, the longer it's going to last. I also did not do, there was like a last kind of scallopy border that was supposed to go on. And it was going to have these big loopy-doopy things around it. And I also don't like that with my dishcloths because they don't really serve a purpose, number one. They kind of splash water around when you're trying to use them, number two. And I get my fingers stuck in them, number three. I don't like that. So I made a few modifications. But this is a nice dishcloth. It's really huge. But I did like the pattern that they used for the stripes. I thought this part was really nice. And I would probably make dishcloths in a similar-ish pattern again. Probably not this big. Though I know that some people like this. It's more like a dish towel than a cloth. Because I like my dishcloths like that big. Maybe that big. This is 4 times as big as probably my preferred. But that's okay. And I kept up with my trying to do dishcloths along every week. That was out of Bernat Handicrafter is the red. And the blue is Peaches and Cream's Billowing Blues. Both things that I got through crate sales on Yarn Factory Outlet, which is Spin Right Yarn Factory's online e-tent thing for their yarns, which includes Peyton's, Peaches and Cream, Karen, I think there's one other. But they have a really, Bernat. Hello, Bernat. But yeah, they have a lot of really good yarn over there. I was watching Smells Like Yarn last night, and Ross was talking about them actually, and yeah, I like them too. To get yarn from them, I have a lot. I find the cotton I've been able to get very inexpensively. With the crate sales, I got, the full cones of just in the discontinued colors, so it was basically just that billowing blue. But they turned out to be $4 a cone, and usually the cones are like, I think retail for them is closer to $12, but at Walmart they have them for like $9. So being able to get it for $4 is a good deal, and it's definitely cheaper than buying the little balls. Because even if you get those for like $1, but still they add up pretty quick compared to what comes on those giant cones. So yes, that was like total side tangent about cotton. Which I don't really have a lot of. I mostly have a ton of 2 colors. I have a bunch of the red and I have a bunch of the blue. So, more noises in my house. My washing machine is singing right now. I don't know if you hear that. But all the dishcloths I'm making are trying to make them out of the cotton I already have. So they're all going to be red, blue, or red and blue together. Which I figure should be okay since I plan to sell a lot of them. And they're going to be at summer shows. Those kind of match the whole summer theme, 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on. And let's see. Oh, the other finished object I have is this lovely item, which caused much drama in my house yesterday. So my daughter has a neck warmer. I made one of the very first projects I made for my sister. I made her a convertible neck warmer hat off the Red Heart website. And I made it out of Caron Simply Soft, which made me realize I don't like Caron Simply Soft. It's really splitty, at least what I've used of it. But I know that everybody is all about it, so maybe I just had a bad experience with a particular yarn. I have leftovers, and I plan to use them here soon, so I will know whether I have changed my opinion of them. But I made that neck warmer for my sister, the neck warmer hat combo thing. So my daughter wanted one, so I made her one. Last year, and she would wear it when she went outside some, and then it kind of got put on a shelf and she couldn't reach it, and anyway, she's been wearing it again. And she's been wearing it like constantly, like never taking it off, and it's a little too small, and it really wasn't keeping her neck very warm. So we discussed how she needed a new neck warmer. So I made her a new neck warmer, and I made it out of leftovers. This is Vanna's choice. Leftovers from one of the visor beanies that I made for my nephew for Christmas. And I used all that I had left of the yarn to make it. And I made it like way too big for her, apparently, according to her. It fit. It was not like tight around her neck, but it fit. And this is a little wide for her, but you can just, bend it in half or whatever and make it fit. Plus, I figured if you kind of bend it in half, it's twice as warm because it's double layered. But yes, it was drama yesterday dealing with the neck warmer, but this morning, last night she had a little reset and decided that she liked it because, yeah, she was basically informed she was no longer craft worthy if she was going to have negative responses like she was having. Yeah, she changed her mind, and today she was wearing it. I actually had to ask her to take it off so I could show you all. So, here's her neck warmer, and I just, simple, kind of ribbed. Little stretchy, but not hugely stretchy, because otherwise she'll just like pull and pull or whatever, and it'll be all wonky. So, yeah, that's done. So moving on to will I procrastinate or will I prioritize? Frequently it's procrastinate, but I don't know. I've been doing pretty well on actually like getting things done. Yesterday I started working on a double crochet heart scarf that I had I kind of been toying with one day a couple weeks ago and never really started. So I am making this out of Yarn Bee Effervesce in the petal color. I really like this yarn. It was one of the first yarns I like really enjoyed. I made an orange cowl out of it. I've also made burgundy cowls, several orange cowls actually, because I really like the orange of this, and it was on clearance. And I like the burgundy, and then I bought this pink on sale at Hobby Lobby. I like it. It's very soft, and very squishy. But it is funny to work with it. It has such a big halo on it that it does not frog. I had started working on this scarf yesterday. So it's, I guess this is what, filet crochet. So it has like the little picture that shows up in it. So you can see there's little hearts. I don't know if you can see. My lighting's all weird because I'm filming at a different time of the day. So yeah, there's little hearts that are showing up in it. And I haven't quite decided I'm going to do like a full scarf. I think I might just, the pattern calls for doing, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It calls for like 6 or 8 repeats, and then you basically like do a mirror of the pattern and then have the hearts come down the other side. But I think I might only do like 6 or 8 and make like a cowl out of it, or like a long infinity scarf that just has the hearts going all the way around it. We'll see, and we'll see how far the yarn goes. I don't know. But yeah, I was working on this, and I had messed something up because the instructions, either I am not understanding the way the pattern is written, which is completely possible, or they didn't quite give you enough information. Like, I like at the beginning when pattern designers really clearly lay out, like, do turning chains count as stitches? Where is your first stitch supposed to go? Is it supposed to go in the same hole as your turning chain? Are you supposed to skip to the next one? Like, I really like all of that laid out. And I'm finding that a lot of people, especially in free patterns, which I get, they're free, so you get what you pay for, don't include enough information on that, or, because I assume that it's just, like when I make things that I'm making without a pattern, I have a certain way that I just do it naturally, and that's kind of my way. Well, I think that we all just assume that everybody does it the way we do it, which is not always the case. So it was nice. At least they had stitch counts. So I kept playing with the stitch counts till I figured out what I was doing that was not jiving with what they were calling for in the pattern. But I messed up on the bottom part of it, and so I tried to frog it, and it just got into this terribly tight knot. I couldn't get it out, so I just cut it out. And I had a little, like, scarflet, scarf, which turned out to be just the right amount to shove inside this other work in progress I have, which is another one of the owl ornaments. I'm making them using the pattern by Josephine Wu on a Morning Cup of Joe Creations. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It shows up as, I mean, it should be fairly popular because it tends to show up at the top of these searches. But I'm making a bunch of these. This is the plum pudding super saver I was talking about. But yeah, I just shoved my little scarf end that didn't frog, and I just shoved this frog right into the owl. And it will be perfect once I add eyes and a little beak. So I'm working on that. And the other things that I need to finish, I am making this little sheep. I forget what it is called. It is by Fugly Crochet. I am making it for the Amigurumi swap group that I am a member of. And it's the crochet along for January. It's a cute little thing. This is out of Super Saver in Buff Fleck. And I didn't really look at the instructions close enough because, again, it was on somebody's blog and it was, you know, a free pattern. And the stitch counts were good and everything, but it didn't necessarily give you lots and lots of instruction. Well, it didn't really tell you where you were supposed to change the colors. I mean, if I'd looked at the picture, I would have realized that the person that made it did their legs and then the face part in a different color so that it would look like a sheep, you know, with like black skin and then white sheepy bits. But I didn't pay attention to that, and I made the whole thing out of this. So I actually think I might like put like either put a circle on the front for the face, or that I might actually make like a heart applique, like embellishment, to put on the front for its little face. So we'll see what's going to happen with this. But I need to finish this by the end of the month for the crochet along, because this month I am going to finish the crochet along. Because I have another crochet along that I had done with the group, which is in parts in a bag somewhere. I don't really know where my pony is. My pony is in parts somewhere. I need to find it. Let's see. I think I had something else. Heart scarf. Oh, oh yeah, I have two something else's. I have big something else's. So this here, whoop, my ball of yarn's flying, is an Afghan that I am making for my hubby's cousin who got married, oh gosh, I think it's 2 years ago now. But I never made her a present. I was going to make her a quilt after the wedding happened, but you know, instead we had another kid. That sounds like a better thing to do than, you know, make presents, right? But then I couldn't ever get around to finishing it. So then I started crocheting and thought, hey, I'll make this Afghan. So, yeah, I'm making this Afghan, and I was making it I started it, like, this was one of the first big projects I took on after I learned to crochet last winter. And I was working on this, and it was great. It's a really dense blanket, as you can see. It is the Basket Weave Diamond Throw. It is a free pattern off of the Red Heart website. And this is out of Red Heart Super Tweed in Mulberry. But it's very dense, and I was working on it last winter and into the spring, and it was fine, and then it got really hot to be underneath. So I stopped, and it just sat on a chair upstairs all summer and a lot of this winter, not getting worked on, and then I decided it needed to get done. So I've been working on it. I have showed this to you before. So the last time I showed you, I was right here where the stitch finder is. So I have gotten many rows done since then. I did a whole batch of a knurl ridge and a batch of cables and then a batch of basket weave. So now I'm on, and all I have left to do is another set of cables and then endy bits. Each end has like a thing that goes across it that has several, not motifs, but like several different sectors, like segments. But I definitely think I can see the light at the end of the tunnel with this Afghan, which is why it is my crafty squeaky wheel. It just needs to get done because I just need it out of my house. I need it out of my basket. And I bought all the yarn that it called for, and I think I may have actually bought the yarn it called for the throw and the pillow, but I'm not going to make the pillow. But I would kind of like to use this yarn for something else. So I need to know how much of this yarn I actually have left so that I can decide whether I can use it for something else. Did you notice that it really matches my couch really nice? Because I have been considering making something for me on my couch out of this. But then again, if it matches too closely, would I ever be able to see it on my couch and like know it was there? I don't know. But yeah, so working on this Afghan. Hopefully next week I will show it to you and it will be done. The other reason I need to finish it is I'm having the problem of this was one of my first projects, and I am a much better crocheter than I was, and I made numerous mistakes, and they are bothering me. I actually had to figure out how to recreate one of the mistakes because when I started, I didn't quite understand what they meant when you asked for different loops when you're crocheting. Not just front loop and back loop, it was like front loop and back loop, but like on the row beneath. And I missed, and so one of my ridges is not a ridge. It's some weird stitch I came up with instead that was incredibly difficult to do, which I've now learned if it is incredibly difficult to complete a stitch, it is because you are not supposed to stick your hook in that hole. But I had to recreate that some when I made this, so that the other side wouldn't make it glaringly obvious that there was a mistake. And I think I did an okay job of fixing that. So there's that, and I have another Afghan that I started. I had started this in the hopes that I would get it done to take with all that stuff I took to Gypsy's. This is a heart-shaped Afghan. It's going to be like a baby Afghan size. Okay. So, heart-shaped Afghan, and it is in Super Saver, again, in the zebra colorway. And I had 2 skeins of zebra, and I thought that was going to be enough because the instructions for this, it is a pattern by Crochet Leaf, crochetleaf.com. It's a free pattern, and it calls for a striped pattern, and I took the stripe out. Like, it only had one stripe in it, and I didn't want to do that. So I took the stripe out, and I thought that when I added the amounts of the yarn together, that my 2 skeins were going to be enough, and they were not. So I need to buy another skein of this, but I can't get it locally. They don't sell it at our Walmart, which is my only local place to buy yarn. So next time I go to Manhattan, I'll need to go to Joann's, which is where I originally got the zebra yarn, and get another skein, and then I can finish it off, and then it will have edging, and I think I'm going to edge it in this skein of Vanna's Choice in Cranberry that I had, which I think it'll look nice. Our local high school's colors are red and black, so I think that'll be a good thing to try and sell. And I think that this will be like a baby blanket size, but it could totally like be a throw on the couch or something, because it does fit nice. I have it on my lap right now. It is kind of cozy. So yeah, when I finish that, then it will be done. But I need more yarn before I can get to that. And that, my friends, is everything that I need to worry about procrastinating or prioritizing for this week. I'm sure I will add more before next week. So moving along to who doesn't love a good nap, because I have many naps, which will soon become things to procrastinate about. I told you that I was doing the Janet cowl that I took to sell. I was doing that for a crochet along with the Red Heart Lovers group on Ravelry. Well, I didn't take a picture of the one that I made, so I have not entered yet. I do at least have till the end of the month. So I'll be making another Janet cowl. And I keep thinking of what yarns I could use for my stash, and for whatever reason, the ones I keep coming up with are not Red Heart, which I need to make it out of Red Heart to enter the challenge. So, I'm going to make one probably out of a green, kind of starting to do some things for St. Patrick's Day, but I'm not completely sure about what color. But I will be making another Janet cowl of some sort before the end of the month. I also have signed up for a swap through the Amigurumi group that I am in, and it involves making a doll for somebody. So I'm going to be making a doll. I have picked the pattern. I have picked the yarn. I will not be showing it to you until after I mail my swap package and the person gets it, because I don't want them to see. I don't know who I'm mailing to yet, because they're not assigning people till the end of the month, but I'm going to get started because I picked the pattern. And if for some reason I'm partway through the doll and I don't think it's going to match the person I'm swapped with, I'll just make the doll to make the doll and make them something else. I'm also planning to make a Delaney hat, which I have the pattern for right here. Oop. It's like a ribbed beanie with these little like curly cues on the top, and it's all like one piece, so it's not like a separate pom-pom. Because I know a pom-pom would die in my house. Pom-poms are just asking for little brothers to come and pick all the yarn out of your pom-pom. The hat is going to be for my daughter's birthday. I asked her if she wanted me to make her anything for her birthday before we had the drama with the neck warmer, and she told me that she wanted a hat. So I'm going to make her a hat. And I'm going to make it in a rainbow of colors to match both the birthday theme and just her general taste right now. So yeah, that's coming up. And this week I need to make some sort of dishcloth. The dishcloth group that I am part of, which I'm trying to keep up with every week, the third week of the month, they do a mystery dishcloth along. And they alternate months between doing a knit one and a crochet one. Part of the reason I liked the group was because they did have crochet patterns every week. Well, except on the mystery weeks, they do it one or the other. And I do not knit. So, yes, I did consider getting out knitting needles and knitting dishcloth. But, no, I am not learning to knit. Not learning to knit yet. No, no, no. Keep reminding myself, you're not learning to knit yet. So I need to come up with something, because I do want to complete a dishcloth this week. So we'll see what I come up with. And I also might want to be starting a Sherlock scarf. I mentioned last week that I wanted to start watching Sherlock with the Netflix along group. The patterns that they picked for the Sherlock scarves. The knit one I thought looked nice. I know it's a super simple pattern because I looked at the pattern. even though I don't knit. But it seemed very simple. But I did like, at least the striping was interesting. The one that was picked for the crochet pattern was boring to me and really simple, which is great, but I don't really care to make a plain double crochet scarf. That's boring. And if I'm going to be bored, why am I making it? I mean, I make lots of things that are simple, but there's always something about them that excites me. That scarf has no excitement value for me. So I did like the striping that was in the knit one. So I considered just doing the crocheted version, but doing the stripes. But after doing the scarf for my husband's uncle and the number of ends to weave in, and that is crazy sauce to do, which I will be not doing again, I need something where I can carry the floats along. I'm going to do that. And so I was thinking about doing it in the round. I like make like a tube scarf. And then I've been really thinking about wanting to learn Tunisian crochet just because I generally want to know how to do it. So I was considering making a Tunisian crochet scarf that followed the knit pattern. Or just watching Sherlock along with them and making something else. Maybe I'll just do that. But there might be a Sherlock scarf coming. We'll see. So on to fun things. Hoarding a mountain of good intentions because I can add things to my craft piles. I got a little order from Webs. And I ordered some yarn for, I am doing the Rose City Mystery Yarn Shawl, or Mystery Yarn Crawl Shawl. Crochet along. And the first pattern comes out on the 28th. So I had actually thought it was the 18th, and so I like scrambled to get my yarn because I thought I needed it, and it turns out I still have a week from today. Ooh, it's exciting. So, yeah, I got my yarn in the mail. So what I picked for my main color is this, which is Araucania Yarns Guasco, and it's in color number 3, which is blue, purple, and fuchsia. So this is exciting. Let's see, I haven't fully but aren't those pretty colors? I think it's going to make a very nice scarf for me to wear this spring and summer. Or shawl, scarf-ish thing, you know. So there's that, and then to go with it, I got 2 skeins of Cascade 220 fingering. And he's so soft. I opened it up as soon as I got home, the night that I got this out of the mailbox. Came in the house and tore it open. I told my husband, look, it's my first Cascade 220. Because, you know, the first, not the last, I'm sure. But it feels nice. I rubbed it on everybody's faces. The kids agreed that it felt nice too. So, I need to ball these up so that I can be ready as soon as the instructions come out, that I can start. I also should probably swatch so that I know what size hook I'm using and make sure I make gauge. But I just need to ball them first, which is going to be a bit of a pain because I don't have a ball winder, and so I'm going to have to ball them by hand, which I've never actually balled yarn from a hank in that form before. I know you're supposed to either like put it on chairs or like have someone hold their hands out so you can ball it. So we'll see who I can con into doing that for me. Oh, and then the Cascade 220 is in the Indigo Frost Heather, which just is a very pretty kind of silvery color. So moving along to what I'm reading Anne of the Island, still 2 chapters left. If my daughter didn't need a nap so bad, we would have finished it today because I just want to be done with it. Done. But we're not done yet. I am also listening to the audiobook of Phoenix Unchained, which is book 1 of the Enduring Flame series by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory. And that fulfills one of my 30 while 30 goals. I don't know if I've gotten that much further than I was last week. I don't think I'm that much further, maybe a chapter or 2. Because I put it aside because I had been on the waiting list for another book, and it came in, and I know that since I was on the waiting list, and I was like number 5 in line, that there's a lot of people on the waiting list, so I want to return it as soon as I can. But I'm also listening to Financial Peace Revisited by Dave Ramsey. I've been listening to Dave Ramsey in the car because the time of day that I drive the half an hour to take my daughter to dance, he's on. And I like to listen to talk radio when I'm driving because it makes me less sleepy for whatever reason. And NPR has not switched back over to talking people. They are still playing classical music, which makes me eternally tired. So I've been listening to that on one of the talk radio stations around here. And I wanted to actually read his book to see what his full plan for things is. Because, you only hear the snippets that apply to the individual people. But it's a decent book. I like that the audio player that comes through, I got it through One Digital Audiobooks, which I can check out from because I am a member of the Kansas State Library. I have a Kansas State Library card, which is all, I think there must actually be a library somewhere, but everything that I've used it for is online based. There's all sorts of ebooks and audiobooks and endless online resources that you can use for research and what have you. And so I got it through there. And I like that their player means that you can speed up how fast people talk. That you can play it faster. I usually, if I listen to anything on there, I listen to it at least 2 times, sometimes faster, depending how slow and plodding the narrator is. Because some are incredibly slow. And some are really, really fast. But, yeah. And then yesterday, my daughter and I listened to an entire audiobook that I also got from the library, called Muggy Maggie by Beverly Cleary. It is an adorable story, and I highly recommend it if you have a learner who is, like digging their heels in about something, because the plot is basically about a 3rd grader who does not want to learn cursive, and her teacher wants her to, and finds a way. So it was cute, and it was only, like, the whole audiobook was only 45 minutes, so even if you read the paper version, it would be a quick read, I'm sure. I'm not sure exactly how long it is. It was only like 7 chapters, so relatively short, and a good story. And what I'm watching. We watched Top Chef this week, and the judges seem so much happier than they had been, which is making it much more enjoyable. So that's good, because it was, the beginning of the season was just not very pleasant. We also have been watching Star Trek. We watch a lot of Star Trek, because we got to the point where it's getting really good. Not that the plot necessarily is ramping up, but the writing is just so much better. And so we've been choosing Star Trek over other things to watch. I also think they're getting to a point where I don't just remember these episodes from when I was a kid, but it is getting more like Star Trek I remember watching as a kid was, as far as how the characters interacted and how the sets looked and all that stuff. So it is fun to watch. I also started watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer again, but I only watch it during the day for a number of reasons. Number one, I kind of had to be careful about watching creepy things at night, because then I will dream about the creepy things, and that's not good. And also, like if the kids are in bed, they can kind of hear what I'm watching upstairs when they're sleeping. And I figure, all of the kicking and moaning and vampire slaying is not very pleasant to listen to when you're trying to fall asleep. So I try to only watch Buffy when the sun is up, and vampires are not awake. So moving on, my studio audience liked that one. Moving on to 5 things on the play farm. I don't really know, these aren't really in any particular order, but these are the order I wrote them down in, so it's the order we shall chat about them. The first thing is I am changing my podcasting day to, I don't know when it's going to be. I had been doing it Tuesday morning, and my husband was taking all 3 chillins to the library for story time. But we have determined that my daughter is too old to go, and that the boys need an activity of their own, so they are going without her, and she is staying home with me. And we are doing a literature unit study, and it will change over time, but right now we are working on a lap book for Stella Luna, which, based on how many activities I have to go along with this and all the things that are going to go into a lap book, for those of you that don't know, a lap book is basically a manila folder with lots of other little like books and activities and things that you make that are smaller all glued into it. So that theoretically you could put said book on your lap and open it up and learn about a topic. Lap book. And we are working on that, and there are a whole lot of things for it, so we could be working on Stella Luna for months. Especially at the rate that she is going, dragging her heels to not finish little bits of things that we were trying to do. But yeah, so working on that. So that took away my Tuesday mornings. So that means that I don't have my own personal time to do that. So I have to try and fit in a podcast when the children are asleep. And preferably my hubby is awake so that he can take care of any of the sleeping children if they are sleeping no longer. So it might shift between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday-ish. I will still try and get one out every week because I really like it. Number one, I like this part, the filming-ish thing. I found it is a really good way to catalog what I am making. I do not like project pages on Ravelry. I know lots of people swear by them. I don't know. They just don't appeal to me. I do, however, keep some of them up, usually because I load pictures onto them so that I can enter the item in something, because then I can do it for free. And I don't have any other kind of picture servicey thing online. So yeah, so there's some project pages, but not everything I make gets a project page. But I can also just keep up better with my thoughts about the items and what I've made and whatever, chatting about it, than I can trying to type about it. And, you know, there's more detail involved. So I could go back and see what I've done. And it's also kind of cool once a week to go back and, you know, when you feel like you've accomplished nothing and then you look and you have a list of 7 things and you're like, okay, I guess I was getting a lot done this week. Or when you feel like you've done a lot and you look and you're like, oh, maybe not so much. I only got 1 or 2 things done. It also is a good way for me to see when my procrastination is getting the better of me and I have a list like a mile long of things that I'm working on and none of them are getting progressed, and instead I am starting new things. It helps me to stop doing that and finish something. So yeah, so changing of days. Me and the kids have started doing walking tapes at night. I have been a fan of Leslie Sansone and her whole walk at home thing for a long time. I got this for Christmas, I think 2 years ago. My first son was born. But this is the 4 Big Miles, and we've been getting through at least the first mile every night, and we did the second mile yesterday, so we did 2 miles yesterday. That was exciting. My daughter has always kind of done them along with me, but she thinks they're really fun, and the boys seem to be enjoying them, and if it means my butt's up off the couch doing something, that's good too. It's given us a good way to kill a little time in the evening, doing something active and fun, and everyone can just kind of mill around and do what they want, but I can do my tape and get in some exercise over and above going to Taekwondo. The third thing is that I am planning my daughter's 6th birthday party. She's turning 6. We are going to be in California visiting my parents. And so we are going to have her birthday party. I mean, her birthday is not actual over there, but her birthday is near then. So we are going to do the party in California so that her California family members can be there. And we have decided we are going to have a rainbow-themed party at a park by my parents' house. So working on figuring out food and decorations and all of that we can either bring with us or, you know, get when we're there, because we're only going to be there for like a day before the party. So kind of keeping things simple, but that's good. It'll be fairly easy, I think. Rainbows. That's fairly broad, open-ended theme, but she's very happy about it, and we finished making invitations, and she was very happy about those. She said everything about them must be rainbows. So, let's see, what else? Oh! Our water heater is fixed. Our water heater has not been working. We have a tankless water heater, and it had been shutting itself off because I guess it had stuff in it, and so it kept overheating or something. So they the warranty is still good on it, so they sent out the element or something. Anyways, my hubby fixed it, And today I was able to just turn on the shower without having to turn on the water and then have him go turn on the water heater for me. So I had hot water to take a shower, and that was exciting. So yeah, our water is instantly hot again. He also did another honeydew, which was very exciting, as he put a new light fixture in the basement for me. There had been one light bulb, and now there are two. So I can get light in the back corner, so I can see better on my canned goods. And I was telling him, you know, I've been quarantining my crafts down to the basement, so my fabric and stuff is all in clear boxes down there. And it's nice because I turn on the little light, I can wave at my fabric, and I can see it all in its clear boxes because there's light on it. So that makes me a little less reluctant to stick stuff down there because I can see it better. So I think I will actually be able to get into it if I need it, and not just forget that it's there. So I think that it is time to say goodbye already, and I think my son is going to wake up here shortly, so I better get this over with. So yes, if you have hung in this long, then I love you more than cows and cheese and applesauce, and I hope that you have a good one and continue to make such nice work.